Yo! Video games.
All right, we're back.
Hey!
We just got back from seeing Alien Prometheus.
Yes.
Yes, we did. And I was looking forward to this one. I like Prometheus. I can completely acknowledge its faults, but I don't think it's a terrible movie. I think it's a good 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed my first watch of it. It's just that subsequent watches, you realize it kind of falls apart.
Oh, yeah.
But it at least sets up for something interesting. Which is Alien Covenant, directed by Ridley Scott, the same director as the first movie, as the first Alien, as well as Prometheus. And this is pretty much, if you haven't already figured it out, a direct sequel to Prometheus, and they have said that, so that's not a spoiler. Yeah. We'll start in non-spoiler territory as usual. Simmons will probably put something on the screen when spoilers start happening. Yeah. Like a little, just put a little thing at the bottom, and
spoiler.
I guess I'll go first. So yeah, huge Alien franchise fan, and really? I say franchise by only 2 movies.
I don't know.
I love.
I don't see it.
I like.
I don't see it.
I like Alien, and Aliens is in my consideration one of the greatest movies of all time, or the greatest movie of all time, next to Back to the Future. I think Aliens is almost a completely perfect film, in my opinion, between character, story, action, suspense, and thriller drama. It's fucking gorgeous. And I might have talked about it a couple times in the past. And I was looking forward to this because, like I said, Prometheus set up for a very interesting backstory for the aliens that was not really needing any explanation, but did set up something that you weren't predicting. It was like, yeah, this is kind of crazy that these life forms created us and also created this crazy death species to wipe things out. Then we're just kind of toys of theirs. And that was actually, that whole concept of like everything was actually pretty interesting. And unfortunately, this movie answered every fucking question you would never ask. And that was kind of, I don't hate Alien Covenant, but I didn't like it. And here's the problem. First 3/4 of the movie, I was fucking loving it. I was really enjoying it. And then at some point, it just drops. And we'll talk about why. We'll talk about why when we get into spoilers. But it's really good for the majority of the film. It's really good. And it sets up some interesting points. And the sequence of events is really cool. And then it just kind of goes downhill. And the characters start doing real dumb shit, which is another throwback to Prometheus, and a lot of the culmination of events are predictable as balls.
Yep.
And that's, I think everyone here will say the same thing. What do you think, Steve?
The first thing that came to my mind after seeing it, very predictable.
It was super predictable.
The entire movie was just, it was like, I can hear, SNK going, predictable! Like, it was just, I knew, like, I could look at the cast and say, okay, I know exactly who's going to die and who's going to survive. The only thing...
People didn't know people were going to die.
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry for the spoiler. Somebody might die.
I might have a spoiler for the Tupac movie. I don't know. I watched the trailer.
Right?
Maybe I don't know.
Wait, what could happen, though?
I don't know. I don't know, but I don't want to spoil it.
All right, good. All I got to say is that it felt like a classic horror movie where you know what's going to happen to the characters, and you get a sense of it felt like a flowcharty kind of
super flowcharty, right?
Flowchart.
Flowcharty.
It was
kind of
yes. This movie was an aliens flowchart. Is what it was. Yeah,
that's actually a really good describing it.
It was a it was an alien flow. This book's from 1988. Holy shit! I've had this for a long time.
I bet it's better written.
It really is. This sets up for Earth War, dude. It's really good. Anyway, but I completely agree with you. It sets a fucking alien flowchart.
Yeah, it was very flowcharted. It gave it exactly what you would expect from a horror movie, but not from, like you said, from like one of the greatest movies of all time. Like you expected something better than that, but it followed like the horror genre to a T. Yeah. And you got what you came for. You got it.
Before we start talking about like sequence of events and stuff like that, how did you feel, Simmons?
I mean, I'm a little opposite of you, I feel there were some really dumb decisions early on in the film.
Really? Okay.
And, I mean, if you just think back, you'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I think the most, without going into spoiler territory, the most damning thing, non-spoilery, is that I felt like I knew this whole fucking movie before I saw it.
Yeah.
I felt I knew it before I saw a trailer.
Yeah.
When I saw a brief synopsis of it, and just the cast, it's like, all right, I guess this is what's going to happen.
You really know it if you watch the trailer. You
really know if you watch the trailer. But like,
know it if you watch
even
the
like the 2 or 3 sentence synopsis that was released when they started filming, it was like, okay, I know exactly what's going to fucking happen.
They had that big trailer where they're all talking to each other.
It doesn't surprise you like plot wise at all.
Yeah,
which is actually kind of a big letdown.
There's like one surprise, I guess you can call it a surprise, which is actually kind of interesting, revolving around a character, but it's still predictable because it's a carryover from the previous movie.
Yeah.
And that doesn't hold its own for very long.
Yeah. Like that's kind of the problem, because this movie had a curse going in, and that it's the 5th, 6th
installment
Alien movie.
Yeah.
8th with AVPs.
Yeah.
So
we don't count those really.
You don't count the AVPs?
I don't count AVPs as aliens.
It's hard to surprise you.
Yeah.
And
that's
and
a tough thing.
where they try to surprise you is super predictable in a way.
Yes, absolutely, Kenny.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to reflect a lot of what we're saying.
Yeah,
right?
no, 100%. High points in the movie. It's beautiful. It's beautifully shot.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, like some of the scenes and stuff. I mean, it's pretty visually stunning. Some of the acting was good. One thing I can say without spoiling, there wasn't characters. Like, wasn't really good characters that you see in alien movies. In alien movies,
they try.
But
there's a couple of moments like where the characters like go down to the planet, obviously.
Yeah.
And there's like this dropship moment, which I actually thought was kind of okay, where they're bantering and stuff.
Yeah.
But the characters, I mean, I feel that Ridley knows how to make movies still, but he doesn't know how to make good films anymore.
Yeah, well, because like there's no characters that are strong as Alien and Aliens.
Well, and that's the thing, is that it's got about as good characters as Prometheus.
Yeah, they're very expendable.
Yeah,
they're very like spoilers,
they have their moments and they have their motivations, but it's just not executed effectively.
Yeah.
It's like literally the. And I wouldn't say it's that bad, because I don't think it's awful.
No.
Like at least the characters aren't doing things that just make absolutely zero sense outside of a couple situations, very similar to Prometheus 1. But it's compared to what we just saw, which was Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, like the problem is that it's well shot.
It's gorgeous. It's a great
well shot.
It's a great produced movie,
and it's directed well. The actors
it is.
Do good acting.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
The things they're saying.
It's not good.
The things they're doing is either really predictable or really stupid.
Yeah. No, fucking
That's
really.
the problem.
And it's like, I feel that the people that go into space in a Ridley movie are destined to be all idiots.
Yeah. No, I mean, like Simmons said, that one stupid mistake was a monumental mistake. It was like... It was just dumb as fuck.
I mean,
and another thing, it's a sequel to Prometheus and a prequel to Alien, and it doesn't pay off for either one.
No, it doesn't.
It does not pay off.
I mean,
it does. If you like Prometheus, you're not like whoa. And you like Aliens, you're like.
I guess like Kenny said, there was one thing that is good, and it's the visuals of the film. There's one thing that's missing. I don't know any of the music in this movie. Prometheus had this amazing score, and they actually homage it a couple of times.
You didn't notice the callbacks?
Oh, they call back it like crazy, because the Prometheus theme is fucking incredible. It's really goddamn good. I don't remember any other music in this film.
I remember when there was a small beat to Alien, and then even there's a small beat to Aliens.
There's a small beat to Alien at the very beginning. And there's something that's a beat to Aliens, but as far as
musically,
what is Covenant's thematic sound?
Nothing.
What is that? There's nothing. It's just the most generic dun-dun-dun-dun. Couldn't even, I didn't pick up on anything at all. Well, a lot of the other movies, and especially Prometheus, has great fucking music.
Yeah.
It's like discovery and adventure, and it is incredible. And this movie just doesn't have anything, which sucks.
Going back to what Kenny was talking about, the movie had no characters. Danny McBride, the cowboy guy,
he did a great job,
right?
Yeah.
It is hard to make that guy not be a good character in a movie. And this one. he didn't seem like he was a character.
He got. Yeah, I don't
But
think
he was
Danny
one of
did a
the best ones in the movie.
Yeah, and
though.
that was the
He did a
thing. He was
solid
one of
job.
the best ones outside of like the main girl,
right? And there was
uh,
nothing going on with him. It was just like he just did his job.
I'm so conflicted with this film because, like I was saying, I liked. Like, the first half, I was really digging it.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, characters were making some stupid fucking choices, but at the same time, I was captivated by where it was going, and it wasn't going in a direction I was necessarily expecting, which was actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it goes into the most ridiculous alien tripe, where we're just gonna go by the books for everything else that happens past this point.
Yeah.
It's like, for example, there's a great space drama movie. I love space thriller. It's my favorite genre of film.
Which is why you like the beginning parts.
Which is why I like the beginning parts, because it's all set up. It's all setting up for that. Which is why I like Prometheus as well, because it's all set up with no payoff, but the setup is really good.
Yeah.
There's a
There you
movie
go.
called Sunshine, which is that. Sunshine is like 90% fucking awesome. It's Danny
Boyle.
Danny Boyle. I think it's Dan Boyle. Great goddamn movie. I think it was win the Oscar the year after for Best Director. Sunshine is fucking awesome, and then the end is kind of not great.
Third act is terrible.
Yeah, like the finality of the movie is just really weird.
There's a lot of almost odd similarities to Sunshine.
There really is.
With
There
Covenant.
really is. And you go see Sunshine if you haven't. I still completely recommend it. And that's the thing. I would actually recommend you still go see this because it's well shot. I did kind of like the fact that I obviously recognize this was rated R compared to Prometheus' PG-13.
Yeah.
There was...
Was Prometheus PG-13?
I'm pretty sure.
No,
let's find out.
It was R. I know.
Let me
I
find out.
know it was R.
It's funny you guys say
I know for a fact
it
it
has
was
similarity to Sunshine, because I see similarities from this movie to Life. The movie called
Life is...
And it's literally the
Life
same
is
kind of
it's a
the plot
space
thing, yeah. And a lot of the idiotic decisions that the characters make. Same thing with Life. It's like the characters made really bad decisions within there, and then all of a sudden things just go really bad really fast. So it seems to be one of those kind of movies where you're like,
Oh, that was the one that was recent, though.
yeah, Life is very recent. Life
the
is
one with Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, I didn't see
Ryan
Life.
Reynolds.
Reynolds.
Yes, yes.
Ryan Reynolds,
Yes,
okay.
yeah. And it's one of those things where you are like, oh, like you want to yell at the screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it
hey,
was-
don't go down that tunnel.
It was rated R.
Oh.
I don't see many reasons why Prometheus was rated R.
That's
Yeah.
horrific shit. Like,
There's some scary
like
stuff.
alien penises going down people's throats.
Right, I just read while looking it up that they actually had to heavily edit it to try to get a PG-13 rating,
They couldn't.
and they couldn't. But they already had the edited film,
So they just say,
so they had to go out R anyway.
Wow.
Was a big part of it. This movie is fucking R. R is shit.
Yeah, they weren't trying to hide it.
They were definitely not trying. People dropping F-bombs like left and right, and people acting like people, which was in a way nice in some situations. They didn't feel purposely censored, other than the fact that they're dumb.
I'm pretty sure I saw a nipple.
There was.
Maybe.
I'm sure there was a nipple.
I was trying to see it.
There was a
You
nipple
saw some
in.
titties at the,
There was a nipple in
yeah,
one of
I
the in a scene.
I was looking.
There was a nipple in a scene that should have been an alien fucking resurrection. There was some pretty cool depictions of the alien in this movie. I do think this movie actually has probably the scariest fully visual alien, like because they don't hide the alien at all. Like in terms of like showing it like in your face,
Right.
it moves really weird, and it has a really creepy feel to it.
I mean, obviously there's going to be an alien, so I guess it's not spoiler territory yet.
No. It's called the alien is in the fucking trailer.
I fucking hate the way the alien looks in the film. Not necessarily the design, the effect. The effects look no better than Resurrection. Because it is like-
That's going a little far.
It's an entire Resurrection probably looks better when they're using actual guys.
Actual guys, yeah.
But the CG in this movie for the alien, it sucks.
So there's a weird
It
thing.
sucks almost every single moment.
There's a really
second it's on
weird-
screen, and I don't like it. I didn't like it at all.
There's a really weird thing. I can still appreciate a CG effect. I liked how creepy the alien was, but there was never a moment where it was dude in suit. There was never a moment of actual video guy performance. It was all done animation. And the thing, at least I think they did a good job at trying to make it creepy, but the problem was, anytime there was something digital on screen, I swear to fuck, it looked completely different than everything else, like it was running at a different frame rate.
Well, that's what I mean.
Like it was running at a different frame rate.
It didn't look like it, and it's funny because in the cast they had two guys cast as the xenomorph and the neomorph, or the necromorph. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was in the credits?
Yeah, and I'm like,
where were they?
I'm
Where were they?
I'm
They
guessing-
motion captured.
There's one scene maybe I could see where, but otherwise, yeah, I'm just thinking is it just mocap
Okay.
at certain points, but there can't have been much mocap because they do the thing where they make the alien a dinosaur or a creature or a Jurassic Park or a Jurassic World, I should say, effect.
Yeah.
Where it's moving like you would expect.
A creature.
Panther.
Yeah.
An earthly creature to
That's
move
kind of
around,
what
which-
the alien kind of just boils down to, is an angry tiger.
Yeah, which actually takes away, I feel, from it.
It absolutely does, and that's the thing, is that with this movie, it's the complete polar opposite of Prometheus. And like I said, I don't actually think it's a bad movie. I don't think this movie's bad. I think Prometheus was a 7. I think this one's a 6, and it got that rating because of 3/4 of the movie. The movie's really good and interesting and setting up, and then the last quarter just really. It doesn't pay off well.
Well,
And then it hurts. It hurts it in the long run.
yeah, I can agree. It's 6.5.
Yeah.
All right, spoilers, man. Spoilers.
Spoilers?
Spoiler time. Spoiler time. What should we even
Let's
talk
I'm
about?
going to start. No, let's start with the
The
fucking
dumb-
opening
the
Let's
scene.
start at the beginning. Yeah.
The very opening scene is
Okay.
this pretentious as fuck moment with Guy Pearce and Michael Fassbender over the title credits, where you're sitting there watching it, and it's supposed to be sort of like off a little bit, sort of creepy and very philosophical, and it's just like, why the fuck is this in an alien movie?
Yeah. It was
Like, the
it was
problem
great.
was, like, I had where I was very up and down for this movie, where I was like, I kind of like some things, I'm like, I don't know if that works, and then I'm like, I don't know. But then at the end, you're like, I fucking hated it. But, yeah, that fucking first scene with Guy Pearce talking to him in the room, I was like, you know what it felt like? It felt like Ridley Scott was making his philosophical Star Trek episode,
Yeah,
and
definitely
shoving it
comes
into an
across
alien
that way.
film.
Yeah.
And
Honestly,
it's like, come on.
I honestly felt like it needed to be in there to explain the character's motivation throughout the movie, but
Right.
at the same time,
Yeah.
it went on too long.
Yeah,
I dug it,
They
though. I thought it was
definitely
beautifully shot.
could have cut it. Like, so
Yeah.
essentially, what Simmons is boiling it down.
if it amounted to anything, really.
The beginning sequence is pretty much David upon his creation, the same David from Prometheus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Way years back when Wayland is obviously getting older, but he's not young, and he created him, and he's having a conversation with David about life and all this shit because David has questions, and he starts questioning, and all it really boils down to is the fact that Wayland is super proud of his creation until his creation asks the question or proposes the question, I will outlive you and you will die. And all of a sudden, Wayland is like, kind of like not taking a gasp, but then he realizes his own mortality and then requests the character to do a thing which essentially sets David on his path of events that will always be throughout all these fucking movies of David being a dickhead. He's serve me tea.
Yeah.
And in that he's like, well, you made me just to do this, and that was the idea, is that he created this thing.
What is my purpose?
What is my purpose? Serve me tea.
You cut
I
butter.
guess
You
it's
cut
just
butter.
like, so I've met my creator. What are you going to do when you meet yours?
Like, and I actually kind of like that because it set up this moment in the end, but it was way too long.
Yeah.
It was like it was a little bit too
Yeah,
fucking
but
pretentious.
it didn't. I don't really even feel the payoff was really.
And you know what? I guess you could say it's pretentious as fuck, but so is David. Like,
Yes.
David is the most pretentious.
Yes, he is.
And that
he fucking sucks
But
in a way.
he's perfectly, not perfectly. He is crafted to be pretentious.
Here's
What's
the
just
problem,
crazy is
though.
that he didn't seem that way in Prometheus. He wasn't that bad.
He
was.
realizes it. He especially becomes it when he sees Wayland die.
Yeah.
But even
okay.
before that, he fucking knows that the guy's going to eat the goop and have sex, and he kind of lets the thing happen because he has that curiosity thing.
Yeah.
In Prometheus, we know he's an asshole. That's the problem with the movie. Is David's the fucking bad guy.
Yeah, right,
he was the bad guy in the first movie.
Yeah.
He's the bad guy here.
Yeah.
So all of this sort of like, he's helping us. Oh,
Yeah, right,
It's
right.
just like, as an audience, you're just like, I know what the fuck's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are we... And that was a problem, like, even getting to the planet where I was just kind of like, can we finally go to the planet where they accidentally
Supposed to go?
discover the ship and then someone snorts some alien
Yeah,
jizz
there was
and
an
then-
alien jizz.
Can we just get to that point? Like, there's a moment where I was kind of like, okay, get to the point because we know it's going to fucking happen. We're just waiting for the aliens to show up.
Okay,
Yeah.
I get it. The problem is that as Alien fans, we know what they're going for
Yeah.
when they do this build. So it takes us forever. It feels like it's an eternity for us, but when it comes to the general audience, They don't know what's going to happen. They don't
Well,
get it.
I mean,
They do.
it's
By
the,
now,
it's
you
the,
gotta know.
again, the sixth.
They're not our
Alien movie.
age. Exactly. They're not our age. You got.
Well,
you do realize it's appealing to a
plenty
different
of-
audience.
It definitely.
It's an R-rated film, which means that you're supposed to be an adult. So you're
Yeah.
appealing
Yeah.
only to adults who've probably seen a fucking alien movie.
Yeah.
This is not Marvel's Avengers for your
Yeah.
6-year-old.
Right.
This is a
Or
rated
life.
R-ass alien movie.
I get that, but you do realize that Aliens has been out for a very long time.
Sure, so
At a
Star
cer-
Wars.
At a certain point, you're going to start appealing to a different audience. I mean, that's just how it goes.
I don't think.
I
you
don't-
can do
I
it.
don't-
And this is why
Well,
I felt
then
it
here's-
was
well,
I don't
here's
think
the
any
thing.
part of it was like, let's appeal to the young
Yeah.
crowd with this. No!
Here's the thing.
It was
You absolutely.
released
If the young crowd tried to see this, they'd be like, "This is boring."
Here's the thing: you absolutely can try to do that and appeal towards audiences that might not have seen it before.
That was
This movie does it horribly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It tries to do that.
Yeah,
it just
you can
does
see
it
them
bad.
trying to
You
do
can
it.
absolutely do that. Like
Yeah.
you can do that with several. Aliens does that fucking great.
Yeah.
While introducing people that might not have seen the first one, while still keeping it interesting, captivating, and mysterious all the way through.
Yeah.
Fucking Empire Strikes Back does that fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You
the
know,
thing is,
like-
Empire and Aliens had an advantage where that was the dawn of Betamax and VHS, and not a lot of people necessarily had it right away.
Or talked about
so
yeah.
people were going off of memories of seeing the Alien and Star Wars Empire, like for Empire, from like 77, 79.
Yeah.
Like, they were just going off a memory of a movie they saw 6 years ago
Yeah.
for Aliens.
So it's possible. Like that's the whole thing.
But
Is that
that's not a problem with Covenant. With DVDs, Blu-rays, VHSs, Netflix, Hulu,
Well,
everything.
all I'm saying is
games.
that Covenant obviously is setting up things in a way, and its sequence of events seems very familiar.
Yeah.
Which is like, yes, you're trying to do this again. It's just that you're executing it not well. It just comes across.
But it's-
Even if we know what's going to happen, it's still slasher
Well, here's
schlock.
the thing: they try to do new shit with new aliens, like necromorphs and shit like that.
And they, well, yeah. I
But here's
guess.
the problem with that: is none of it's really none of it's new in a way. It's visually different looking.
Yeah, it just
but
looks
it's the
different.
same fucking process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You know,
so here's the nice thing about Prometheus. Like, they started to go into the biology of the alien. Like, how
Yeah.
the fuck did it become what it is?
Yeah.
And the ultimate explanation of how that happened is exactly what you think.
Yeah, well, it's exactly what you think.
It's
and
exactly what you think. Like, if you were thinking about in Prometheus, yes, that's exactly
there's a
what it
little
is.
bit of me that I feel like Ridley has this weird sort of disdain for fucking aliens because
Kind of like how George had for Star Wars.
yeah, and he keeps trying to write and like add to the mythos or build upon the mythos and the origin of the alien thing, and it fails to sort of acknowledge aliens. It's almost like he hates aliens.
Mm-hmm.
He hates everything aliens brought to it. And I'm talking very specifically since we're in spoiler-ass territory. They seem to sort of imply David created fucking eggs.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh no,
Which-
they don't imply. They
is.
specifically say I altered their
yeah.
mutation
it's kind
and
of
I
like-
manipulated
At
them.
that point, I was just kind of like, dude, fuck you, dude.
Well-
I get it. You don't like aliens
No,
because,
no.
because in Alien 1, the alien cocooned people and turned them into
You know,
eggs.
there's
That
another
was
movie
the original
after,
idea.
You know, there's another movie after this one, right?
Yeah. I totally
So
get that.
here's what's going to happen. I mean, we're getting into spoiler territory because we're going even beyond this movie.
Yeah.
They're literally going to set up that David is going to kill what's her name because
Yeah,
she's the
of
only
course.
one to know, and they're going to set up that he's going to make his ultimate creation, which is the alien queen.
Yeah.
Somehow, somewhere, he's going to infect.
Maybe.
His creation
I
is
don't
going
know.
to be what is going to carry on his legacy, which is creating aliens without him being there, which is the queen.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
going to be necessarily the queen. I think he's going to try to avoid anything to do with the queen.
Well, we don't.
I think I've even read about this too. Like that was never his intent. That was never his design. He intended the alien life cycle to be, an alien goes out, feeds, cocoons people. They turn into an egg. The egg then turns people into facehuggers inside the egg, and then that breeds a new alien. That was supposed to be the cycle.
Until that happens, it looks like it's just directly setting up for what.
See, I think you have hope that it's going to go there, and
I know I don't because that's going to be boring as shit. It's the
Of
exact
course it'll
same
be
thing.
boring as
This
shit, but
movie
I look
did.
at it as almost. I almost see this movie as almost like Ridley's like.
Well, you want chaos. I mean,
No, I don't. That's not this. I kind of hate that fact. I hate this fact that it just seems like I want to keep adding to this mythos, and I'm going to make it so that David was the grand architect of everything. And I'm like,
Well, they already have.
how
That
horrible?
already
Yeah.
happened.
I'm like,
That-
how horrible is this?
That
You know?
already
Like,
happened. That happened.
You've already kind of destroyed the mythos when you made the space jockey just naked white dudes.
Yeah.
and not giant elephant tusk-esque people like you
Right.
thought.
That didn't.
That was already ruining it at one point. Now we're going to say that David was this grand architect behind their black goo.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what you're doing? You're midichlorian the Alien franchise.
Oh no, that's what this movie already did. That.
Like,
Like
yeah, it did.
It already
because
did.
it doesn't make sense because in the ships you see the ships very look much like the alien architecture.
Yeah.
They look bumpy.
Well, the
and they
bone
look-
ship, it is the bone ship
the
from
bone
Alien.
ship, and it looks like that, but none of the aliens in Prometheus look like that. They look like these weird.
Well,
little
that's
hybrid
why
creatures.
I like Prometheus more is because it's setting up this thing where you're still curious
Yes.
as far as what's going to happen, and you're trying to piece things together.
Yeah.
So wait, an alien biology is a fucking dick monster goes into your mouth and you hork it up and it fucks this thing and then it fucks that guy and and you're trying to figure it out when it's a lot more simpler than you think it is. Because they specifically wrote it that way. But this movie is, like I said, the complete polar opposite of Prometheus, which sets up a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
This movie is nothing but answers. Answers to questions you didn't even fucking have. Like,
Yeah.
it specifically goes out of its way to just give you so much fucking information that you're like, okay, well, I have no more questions. Let's see what the big finale is. And the finale is just an alien chasing you down a corridor.
Yeah, and it leads to that. And then there's like other things that I was kind of like really conflicted on one point with because we already got to like the egg scene. The chest burster for the first real xenomorph, it comes out fully formed, and it's this
Oh yeah.
horrendously
I thought it was
stupid
like
looking
a thing.
CG doll, and he's like,
And he raises his hands and the thing is like,
and I'm like, he comes out fully formed, just tiny.
like, what is
And I was like,
this?
that
Well,
looks so
they
stupid.
took away the original chest burst,
I
which was super violent and super like, holy fuck, this guy's just lying there. He's like, hey, oh shit, something's out of my chest. Ah, that hurt. I'm dead.
Well,
It's
Yeah, they
like
make
a
it
not
fucking
as
worm.
violent.
They make it immediate, and they make it more like this. The alien in this movie acts a lot differently. Like it walks directly, like upright, a lot like
Well,
the
the
alien
Necromorph
does.
does.
Yeah,
The other one
Necromorph does.
kinda, when it runs, it's running.
And
on
it's
all
because
fours.
these are creations of David.
Yeah.
Like they
has the skull and the head, smooth head.
like, and the whole reason the thing looks like the way it does is because it's looking like the goddamn statue of David, which is the whole reason that thing is there at the beginning of the film. He's trying to create perfect looking life, and then he makes one version that's kind of like it, which is the Necro alien, and then he makes his ultimate version, which he describes later, like I'm creating this beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And then it goes down the line of fucking Resident Evil 5, right?
Right.
Where it's like, oh, they're beautiful, and it
thing
becomes
was,
that.
it was like this. He was almost directly quoting Ian Holm in Alien, like the perfect specimen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you have this whole thing where it's like the AI on the ship is called Mother, which I believe Mother was the name of
It's the same thing in Alien.
in Alien 1. And there's like even a shot with the little like bird dipping into the water at the
Yeah.
end, and there's
Yeah.
like all these little like ass pulls
It's
from Alien.
practically a remake of it's all
it's
honesty,
doing stuff like that.
it's practically a remake of Alien
Yeah.
because if you really boil it down and you take like so the whole thing is that the characters essentially get stranded on the planet from the big ship up top.
Yeah.
There's a citadel area, and David killed everyone back on the Promethean homeworld.
Yeah, which
he
we also
unleashed the virus that which you saw in the pre. There's a movie you can watch on the Fox YouTube channel. He essentially murders every single person on the Promethean homeworld by setting the virus on the ship open on the planet that they designed it to do. And it fucking wrecks and kills everyone and kind of sits dormant on the planet in these little pods so that any random life form that comes across or somehow survives eventually gets infected. And David kind of goes around the planet collecting this stuff, sort of genetically creating his own little aliens that infect fucking everything except him and plants.
Right.
So the world has nothing on it but plants and him.
Yeah. So that's where it starts getting like that's the beginning of the stupid. Not that, but
Because that's
people
actually
going-
kind of interesting.
but the people
But
going
interesting.
down.
Yeah.
But
That
not
part's
cool, though,
stupid because
Here's I got I don't want to take away. Let you talk, Kenny. The moment where the movie goes full on fucking retarded is where David is like, "Hey, dude, come look in this egg."
Yeah.
And the guy is like, "Okay, sure."
Yeah.
And the guy just had his like wife killed, and he's terrified of everything that's happening, and he just saw David like worship this crazy creature which he had to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. And the most.
That was
You know
You know what? No, you know
I
what- you know
literally
what threw me
heard
off?
some.
You know what threw me off?
I heard
Sorry.
face bombs.
I know what threw me off. Why the fuck was he making out with everybody?
Oh,
What the
okay.
fuck was
okay,
going
I'll
on with that?
I'll answer that. No, I'll answer that.
What the
There's
fuck?
and I actually don't find this a bad part because David is a fucked up person. He is crafted genetically, or not. He is crafted biologically, technically, to have emotions and to think and to grow.
Right, he's an obsolete.
And to have like growing hair.
He's an obsolete model.
He is an obsolete model, but he's specifically designed imperfect because he's human practically. He is he feels things, he learns things, and you get that from the first movie that he wants to. He makes choices. He doesn't listen. He makes his own choices, which are not what androids are supposed to do, which is why he calls them inferior models.
Lying.
So the idea is that he's experiencing things that he interprets as emotions, as love, and you fucking is like murdering them because he thinks that's what you do with love.
Yeah.
He thinks this is how you express love, and he's essentially just like a really messed up regular person in the head.
Yeah,
like
Jeffrey Dahmer.
He's like Jeffrey Dahmer. Like he's psychopathic. But to him, it all makes sense. So he's actually very human in that way.
I guess. Well, when they first land, though, this is where I'm saying, like, they're dumb at the beginning. They see a planet, they get it, or they get
and they just follow this guy.
They just follow this fucking distress call.
Right? Oh my god, that was
okay, I get it. That's fine.
Mind blown.
That's fine. I get it. But
it blew me up.
They go to the planet and they're like, "Wow, this planet's super hospitable." Like, we didn't even know it existed, even after all our decades of searching. And I'm like,
oh yeah, that was the biggest facepalm.
how did you not predict? How did you not see a physical planet in space if you were out in this sector looking for a hospitable planet? Okay, whatever. That's stupid.
Yeah,
that's just technology.
I'll back it up.
Fine.
I'll back it up with space knowledge. That's completely a thing because it's too fucking big. Like,
no, I get it, but they talk about we explored all the sectors out here. They make this line, which kind of like fucks
which all of a sudden is like dumb because
even them, they were sitting there saying, "How did we not see this?
How did we not see this?
How did we not see
explored all this?
They never explained how they didn't see that.
So they land,
never got to
but it doesn't matter. They land on a planet, and they land in the middle of a fucking storm. Which, what kind of scientists are you? And then they just walk out.
Yeah,
there's never even a moment where they sit there and say, "Does this planet have oxygen?" There's not even that.
They don't even.
They just
really,
waltz the fuck out.
The computer told them.
That's pretty much what it boils down to.
The computer. This whole thing, it's just like, oh, we've surveyed, we've done all this stuff for our planet, which we will call our new home. Here's a new planet. Let's fucking go to it. That just like.
I didn't really mind them like checking it out.
Well, their motivation to it was that it just cooked a guy inside a pod, and they're all reluctant about going back into hyperspace.
Right.
Like, their emotional motivation is
I don't want to
there.
go to hyperspace. Let's just go to this fucking planet.
For
we
me,
just
I'm just
discovered
kinda like,
7 minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm just kind of blown
with
away
no
that they just
scientific research behind it.
But them walking out, and then there's a guy who gets real fucking close on a plant.
Yeah.
And then like sees shit like blow up and fall.
I don't think he was a scientist. I think he was.
Well,
just like
regardless,
you gotta be.
So
you have to be a scientist to be on a fucking
the
crew
problem with that one,
an interplanetary expedition.
The problem with that one is the shot itself, because the first part's okay, because like the first guy gets infected, the thing goes into his ear, and it's like you see it like crafting itself and searching for a host, and that's fine.
Yeah.
The second guy like literally goes like, "What's this weird thing? Look at this shit." He literally says, "Look at this shit," and then he goes to it. And then it's the shot of like the weird little pod thing. It doesn't look ominous. It just looks like a weird plant.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he goes, and he just squirts shit all over the place, which looks to be like right in this motherfucker's eyes. And the guy doesn't react at all. Like he has no reaction. He just goes, ugh. And he just gets up. And it's so they added this effect in post of him getting jizzed on by this plant. But the fucking actor doesn't do anything, so it looks ridiculous. He's just like, ooh.
Why would you just assume an alien world that you've never been on that definitely has life, if even if it's just plant life? Why would you just naturally assume, fuck it, there's no chance of catching anything?
Oh, look at that weird sparkly shit. Oh, it's
you
fine.
wouldn't be allergic to anything? It's
allergies or just
spacesuits,
motherfuckers that could potentially kill
all that stuff.
All
was
this shit
explained
is like
outside of what we were watching.
Our own astronauts, when they went to the moon and back, were quarantined for 2 weeks after they got back to Earth. Just to make sure.
Yeah, just to make sure they didn't bring back fucking space bugs.
And we were just going to the fucking moon.
Yeah.
Moon disease.
That's what blew my mind when they brought the sick dude back to the ship. The guy who got his face burned off. They brought him back to the ship, put him into medical bay, and guess what? He had an alien on him.
No.
They didn't.
David put that one into him when he was on the ship. Yeah,
the last guy or the first guy?
The guy that dies first when they go back onto the ship.
Well, that was the guy who got the shit in the ear.
No. The last
that
guy. The last guy who
early.
got his face burned.
That's the last guy.
He
Yeah,
was
that's the last
fine.
guy.
He got the fucking thing came in his mouth.
You saw the facehugger for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. So he had it in him.
Sure, but that's later in the movie. Like, early on, they say one line about, do we need to do quarantine? And I'm like, you actually have a quarantine procedure. You would have to do quarantine for anyone who walked into an open alien world and then just walked back onto a ship.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you...
Parasites,
Wouldn't you
crazy
just
things.
be quarantined?
And there's-
To me, that's
and
like just like the scientific...
Pretty
like,
much, it's
fuck.
where it's the same part of where it boils down to, where the geologist is like the scientific engineers in Prometheus become the dumbest fucking people. Like,
Yep, they're dumb.
For somehow in Ridley space movies now, except the Mars movie with
Mars.
Matt Damon, which was great. Which
Right.
was
Well,
fucking
the thing
great.
is, Ridley doesn't write his scripts.
Well, yeah, I
And
get
I
it.
think that's the
in
the initial
his
problem.
movies now, he's got literally like characters going on some of the most important scientific expeditions into space as what the movie is building up, and they are the most emotionally unstable, dumbest people ever.
No.
Like like what the like how
Shows these people?
And then there's another. Well, Alien 1, they were wearing full suits.
Yeah.
Full fucking space astronaut suits.
Yeah.
When John hurt, and then the facehugger got melted through the glass
Yeah.
attached to his face. I'm like, these dumb truckers
We're
in
smarter.
Alien 1
yeah.
were smarter than the entirety of fucking Alien Covenant. And I will say, I actually kind of liked the post-title crawl, or the post-title credits sequence. Right after David, it was kind of this nice kind of, not throwback, but it felt like Alien.
Oh well,
With the crew.
it was the same way the letters appear in Alien.
No, not in that. I just mean like when they're just the crew doing their crew
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And the solar
probably-
flare, and they're fixing the sail. And
Yeah,
it's
we
like,
saw like an
this isn't
entire.
like it's a little
what?
slow. But
That was-
that's kind
yeah.
of cool.
And all
okay
that
with
stuff.
this.
The movie's really good as it even the decision to like go down to the planet. Like I understand because everyone's like
Sure.
their captain just literally got killed inside a pod that they all have to go back
Yeah.
into and sleep.
Yeah.
And
Not me. I'd be
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'll go back to fucking sleep.
The problem though.
We don't know this planet.
Yeah. Well, the problem though too is that they don't survey the planet. They
No.
literally go there
And you go.
and immediately drop ship.
Yeah.
And there's all these fucking. There's a plasma storm. Why don't you wait to see how the
yeah, it's
They made a big deal out of the
why
fact
don't
that.
you wait to see how the weather system works?
Yeah,
on this
they
fucking
made
planet
they made a
before you land in front of a fucking
very
hurricane.
big deal out of the fact that they had already done so much research on the planet that they're going to.
Yeah.
Yet now they're going to
choosing
a
to go here.
planet that they have no
the
research
other part that bugged me was that like outside of the motivation that we don't want to die in the pods, because they don't want to. I'll just add to it. They don't want to die in the pods because a random space event is what fucks everything up right at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So they're like, we cannot take the fact that just random. We're hoping on randomness to keep us alive.
Yeah.
And so that's why they're all super uneasy about going
Yeah.
back in. So I get it. I going to the planet makes sense. Where it's like, well, we can do this, which seems fine, or we can take the time and go to do that. I can see where in multiple
know
characters
that,
under
yeah.
those situations.
it just-
However, when they get to the planet, this planet is full of there's a horrific ion storms, like insane electromagnetic horseshit happening all the time, which fucks up communications, and that literally is only there as a plot point to sever
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
communication with the main
But
ship
it's-
and allow them to get back.
And it's a super tired plot point. They fucking did
It's
it
the
in
same thing in Prometheus.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's what
And-
bugged me. It's a storm. You
There-
can't talk to anybody.
There was
Yeah.
no idea of just waiting to do like a
weather
survey,
check.
a weather survey.
Yeah, weather
Yeah.
check.
Jesus
It's like-
Christ!
It's like
go
it's
to
like
an area
you know
on the
Probe,
planet
send
that
some
isn't
probes
having
and
that
get
shit.
some footage.
It's like, if there's literally a cloud in the sky within like 10 miles of an actual shuttle launch or a missile launch or anything like that they don't launch.
Yeah.
Like
Right,
if
but the
there's
thing is, like,
anything,
when
they
we
don't
have
fucking do
hurricanes
it.
here, we actually see them coming weeks,
Yeah.
if not a
Yeah,
month
yeah.
in
And
advance.
it's like you can't just not do it. Like you've been flying out here for like a decade or some shit. Just wait a couple fucking days.
Even if they are afraid to go back in the pods and everything like that, like they don't want to go back in the sleep chambers. You're just there for a couple of weeks. You can just wait for the weather to change. You don't.
Yeah,
have
and
to
that's the
fucking
idea.
do
Is
that.
that
Yeah.
it's
You
like
don't
it's
have
like
to fucking
it
go there
only-
now.
or send
was their
fucking
dumbest
Walter down there because he's not human anyways. Just have him survey the
Yeah.
fucking
Oh
place.
God!
And that's
just said what? The fuck?
so we've already established that
What?
it repeats the same problems as
Yeah.
the first Prometheus, and it sets up the characters into situations where the characters make the dumbest fucking decisions.
Yeah.
So as
And
far
the
as the
ships-
sequence of events,
So dumb.
when we eventually get there, and then David's been on the planet and he's been surveying it and making his own aliens, this this is where I have the biggest gripe in the movie. Because the characters are like, let's get the fuck out of here. And then the Davids are fighting. David and Walter are fighting. And then all of a sudden, the main girl kind of like changes attitude because the guy comes down from the main ship to save the two characters that are still alive. Yeah. And they jump on the ship and the alien is running after them. So there's this moment where they're like, oh, there's something on the bottom of the hull. And the alien's like climbing on the bottom of the hull. And she's like, I'm going to go get this fucker. And she just like grabs a gun and runs out there. This character that I don't even know what her job is. It's obviously not a combat specialist. She just runs the fuck out there, ties her ass onto the thing, and just and just starts. I'm like, where the fuck did this come from? Like, this character was mortified about her situation because her husband died on the ship and he was the one that got cooked. She's terrified about all this shit that's happening around it because she was the one that said we shouldn't fucking go here. She's in like Ripley's situation in Aliens where she's like, this is a bad idea, don't do it. However, in Aliens, which is the direct contrast I'm putting to this comparison, where all of a sudden the character just starts doing something else completely, and this is where the movie ultimately lost me. Ripley tries to confront her fear and goes down to the planet anyway to face her fears because her life fucking sucks because these things are in her head all the time. She's literally going insane because she can't get them out of her head. So she goes down there and essentially meets Newt, and Newt is the reason she keeps fighting.
Yeah.
Like she becomes mother to Newt. And that's why she puts the guns on. She's not a combat specialist. That's why she does all this stuff. She becomes motivated. But the character in this movie, all of a sudden, is, I'm going to go shoot this fucker. And just runs out there. And like, you did not have an arc. You just did this thing.
Well, maybe she was
there was a scene you didn't see.
Well, that was the idea. I'm sick of this shit.
You didn't notice it.
Maybe.
You didn't notice it. The alien stole her shoes.
Yeah, that was it. Alien stole her shoes.
Well,
that her friend gave her that he was like, friends with.
Here's the problem.
I totally get that.
Thematically, Alien is about reproduction and birth, which is actually a really creepy thing. You ever actually sit there and take a look at your junk? It's actually a weird looking thing, which is why Giger had nightmares, which is the whole plot of Alien. It's a horror movie, and it's about this horrible fucking thing.
There wasn't that much horror in this movie. That's another gripe. Not much horror.
And so it's about reproduction and birth, and then Aliens follows that up and is about family, and specifically about motherhood. Motherhood runs through the whole fucking theme of Aliens, and death runs through Alien 3, and it's terrible, but, you know, at least it had that. This movie's got this weird fucking thing, and then you can't argue this one with me because
Gospel Jesus shit.
Yeah, I've actually heard the Ridley Scott interviews even around Prometheus. He has this weird hate boner for religion, and I swear he has it for aliens. But that's kind of like the theme of this movie, just kind of like faith and versus science kind of thing, and I'm just kind of like, okay, Ridley, whatever. Like,
well, they don't really touch on that at all.
No.
But they do in bad ways, like David's when he's quoting things.
Yeah,
and you know, and
well, I mean,
sort of like, I'm the creator, and the creator's creation has risen up, and now it's going to kill its creator.
Yeah, he starts quoting biblical stuff.
Yeah, and it's kind of like that. It's like the whole philosophical idea of like, you know, we killed, like, God created man, but man killed God. You know, we killed God through science, kind of thing, and that's what David's doing and shit. And it's you know, and then he goes like full JRPG villain at one point. And is talking about, like, you know, they're a dying species. I won't let them resurrect themselves. Kind of thing. And I'm just like, okay, Goldman.
Like David eventually like grows a hatred for mankind throughout his life.
Yeah, when the movie tries to have a sort of like philosophical point, to me, it's just cringy.
What? They spent so much time with that flute. Like, they used on the flute for so fucking long.
I kind of dug the idea.
I didn't get it
because it reminded me of song. What?
Okay, you want to touch the flute?
Right?
Right? Like, what the fuck? All right, now use your own hands. Use your own hands.
Yeah. Okay.
So what the fuck?
So that'll make sense if you see the movie. But I kind of dug the idea of the sort of Song of Spears bit. I doubt Ridley's ever read the comic, but there was a comic where, you know, there was a guy who was trying to musically
a guy that trained aliens through music.
Through music, and I was like, I can kind of think this. Maybe David's doing something like that, but then it doesn't go anywhere, really.
Yeah, well, there's a moment where the alien is in front of David, the Necro alien.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing there hasn't been any of these yet because he's like astonished by it, and it looks a very specific way because it came from the spores on the planet. It was created. Chemically instead of David's like mutated aliens. Yeah. So it looks a lot different and it behaves different, and it's like weird and creepy, but still horrifically violent. And he starts like taming it by like explaining that if you blow on a horse's nose, they'll be your friend for life.
There's going to be a lot of people blowing on horses' noses now.
Yeah, so
I'm going to do it.
He's essentially like
taming
this alien in front of him, and then the captain totally shoots the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
And that's where he develops an even bigger hatred for like mankind.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like they did have an alien that was not acting like an alien does, which is just an angry tiger, which is kind of nice for a second, and then they just drop it.
He was so angry at the guy. He was like, "Come on, follow me. Come on down this hall.
Fine,
I
I'll
got
show
you.
Yeah.
I tricked you, you dumb human." Fuck.
What?
No, here's the thing. The movie didn't have that tension, that scariness that the good alien movies do.
Because you kind of knew everything was
Yeah,
going
they
to
kind of
happen.
know, but like
You know
the
everything's
Aliens movie traumatized me as a fucking kid. It was
Well, yeah.
scary as fuck.
This is what I mean-
terrifying.
this is what I
this
mean
movie
by,
didn't have that. It had very little of it.
And then-
Predictability, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
When everything's predictable.
I've seen Life, and at the end of Life, there's gonna be a double spoiler, guys. At the end,
it's super predictable.
Super, yeah.
Just say it's super predictable.
yeah, at the end of
Just
Life,
say
there's a
don't
super
say don't.
okay, yeah.
Okay.
At the end of Life, there's a very super predictable point where they try to change characters at the end of it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this reveal. Oh, now it's that guy that's over there.
No,
this guy's over there.
I couldn't believe that. You know what's
Are you
funny?
serious that he picks up the knife and then the other guy's about
Yeah,
to hit him
so-
and then they change the scene
So, yeah,
and then
so-
all of a sudden he's
okay,
running
yeah,
out the
yeah,
thing
yeah,
and you're
you're-
like,
you're-
of course it's him.
Of course it's David.
There's
What
a-
the
Of course
fuck?
it was. Like I saw
Of
that
course
scene
it's
because
fucking David.
the scene is the Walter the good android's on top of him and he's
Yeah.
punching the shit out of him.
Right.
And the bad David, you see him grab a knife and then the scene cuts away immediately.
Yeah, right.
Gee, I wonder
so
what's
you've
gonna
already
happen.
been led into the belief, okay, he's about to grab that knife, he's going to do something.
Yeah.
And then you see what
Doesn't take it.
looks like Walter come out, and the moment I knew it was David was when the second he walks out and he looks back. He looks back inside.
Oh yeah, that was dead
Absolutely.
It's David.
As soon as he
Absolutely.
walked, as soon as
He
he
took
came
the
walking
knife, he
out.
cut himself, cut his arm off.
the
David.
big reveal is that Walter and David look the same.
Yeah, it's Michael Fassbender.
It's literally. I don't know what.
That was just like a no-brainer.
This is a movie trope thing that they've
Trope.
done so many fucking times, and for some reason they decided to do in this movie.
And another...
I knew that was going to
Reason
happen
why?
even before that.
Yeah.
When David
Oh.
started
Yeah, they
cutting
literally
his
say-
hair. When David started cutting his hair.
As soon as that happened.
As soon as he started cutting his hair, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
they're going to switch. They're definitely going to switch.
Yeah.
There's no reason for that character to cut his hair now. He's been on the planet for over 10 years.
The only
Why would he
thing-
cut his hair now?
Yeah.
Gee, I know why.
You know
The only thing I
what?
was
Fuck.
thinking was that he was
And
going
you
to...
got my same hairstyle?
I thought he
Oh,
was going to
yeah.
talk David into being evil. That was the only thing I was
Yeah,
thinking. Maybe
no.
he's going to do this thing where they're both going to be evil, and then you'll never
No.
know
No,
who's
it was
who.
different.
gotta
No.
be-
As
there's
soon
gotta
as
be
he
a
started
name.
cutting his hair, I was like, no.
There's
I was
got
like,
to be
we're
a
done.
name. There's got to be a name for that trope
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's the most tropiest fucking thing that you've seen it so many times in
Yeah.
movies that
So
as soon
many
as it
times.
But you
happens-
know what? The fucking girl sitting on the other side of me was like, she literally gasped, oh no! At the very, very end. And I went, oh, of course it is.
This is what I mean by new audience, you idiots.
that's not-
This is what I'm talking about.
no,
They don't know
no.
anything about
Yeah.
that.
So you mean they've never seen a movie before in their entire life? Then sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Honestly,
about.
Are you
It's
new to movies?
Really,
Right?
really.
She was.
If you-
She obviously was.
If you didn't pick up on the fact that David was going to take the place
Yeah.
of Walter
Yeah. Right.
after that fight scene happened, and then Walter looks back and all that shit, then
stuff.
I don't know.
You know what
Yeah, I
another
don't know.
immediate
I don't
given
know.
was?
You gotta understand, there's a lot
Here's
of
another
there's a
one. They
lot
didn't even
of
answer it.
millennials out there that are 18, guys.
Not even that. Not even that.
That's not even- that's-
You have to have half a brain.
That's what I mean.
He
You have to
healed
literally-
himself from getting skewered in the neck, and you see him healing himself. Dude, he's right
this
there.
is- that-
And the
that was-
motherfucker has scars. He's taping his fucking face.
Yeah.
This guy heals.
It's him.
Yeah.
Like how
He's
much
not
more?
healing.
How much more
He-
information
it's a
do you
fucking-
need? That
here's
it's
your
David.
sign.
And then
Here's your sign.
They
Here's your
build
sign.
up. They build up the
He
movie
has
for
cuts on his face
They
that are
build up
not
the movie
healing.
for 30 minutes, even moments where it's like, Walter, where are you?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm right here. Like,
Yeah. Hey, Walter.
so much, like, no fucking shit. We know Ridley.
Motherfucker.
We know.
I would have been skeptical. Hey,
Yeah.
Walter, what was that cool joke you told me when we got on the ship?
Right.
Fucking blah, 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 kill him.
You know what? And I was honestly like, it was so painfully obvious.
Yeah.
I was honestly hoping that they were gonna reverse it on him.
Yeah, that's why. Okay, when he started saving people, I was like, maybe it still isn't.
Where
maybe,
started,
maybe.
I just know like, this is his test of his creation. That's what he was doing.
Yeah,
He wasn't
the
saving
part where
people.
he's like willingly helping them kill the alien. Like, maybe it is Walter in the end,
and they're trying to make us think that it's David.
And that's what I was hoping. Like this movie's gonna
that was
set
a test of his creation.
I was definitely hoping that.
I'm like, this movie's gonna set up some really crazy, weird, interesting ending where David got into Walter's head and making him think in different ways, and Walter's going to do his own thing and going to set up for some very interesting, weird ending or something like that. And it literally does exactly what you think it's going to do, and has David horking up shit.
That was in my head when David was looking at the security camera, and then the alien starts looking at him, and he hits the camera and stuff. I honestly thought I felt like a little bit of Walter there. Like I thought Walter was the one looking at the camera, and like in a second, just for a second, I was hoping.
Yeah, because
maybe it is
because
Walter.
He jumps back.
He jumps back, and he's like surprised, and he's like, "Oh, maybe Walter is thinking about something," but no, it was still
It's like the.
Well, the thing was too, and it was also weird. Is there's actually a lot, or I'm sorry, not a lot of alien in the movie till the very end.
No.
Like you see the necromorphs a little bit. They have a couple scenes, and then they die.
Yeah.
And then the chest burster, and you have a little bit of the xenomorph on the planet.
Well, here's the thing.
You had the dumb fight. On
This movie's Prometheus and Alien. The alien part and the part where we tackle the alien, very rushed, very small. In all the alien movies, that is the most significant part of the movie. We have this fucking killer bug. How in the fuck do we get it out? This one was solved in like 10 minutes. All the other movies, the entire drama is like, fuck, we're trapped.
But the thing is, like,
fuck.
it almost felt like they didn't have it.
No, they didn't have it. They did not have it.
But then,
so that's why I didn't like this movie, because it wasn't that much Prometheus and it wasn't that much Alien.
But they get on the ship, and it's like they realize, fuck, this is still an alien movie. We've had the alien on screen for like 3 minutes.
And I'll give my last...
All right, have them chase them down the hallways in this fucking very, very obvious nod to Alien 1 with like with the chains and the going through the corridors and fuck, I have to remake Alien again.
You know what's funny?
really
I totally see that now that you just said that. It's like they completely forgot that it's an alien movie until they get to the ship.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden it's like,
wait a minute, fuck, we need to have an alien hunting movie.
And it's ultimately like the scenes that do have the aliens, because there's not a lot of screen time for the alien in Alien 1 and Aliens either. Like, if you really boil it down, it's probably comparable even to this movie.
Yeah.
Unless you take the Queen sequences, she's on screen a lot. However, in this movie, the alien is on screen, but it's only interesting or captivating, really, when they're ripped out of people, like, violently in different weird ways, which is actually like, whoa, what the fuck? Like,
well, the only
that's
thing new
pretty
it adds
shocking.
is where it bursts out of, which
And
is like,
that's really it. That's really it. And they're a different color.
Yeah.
And they act they're just a visual difference, and they act the same as aliens. And there's literally like a Raptor Jurassic Park scene where it's like running around and the bushes, running in the bushes and shit.
Yeah.
It's like the ooze out
One
of
cool
people
thing
in
we
this
got
one.
is we got Alien Vision.
No, we had that Alien 3. I
Really?
was like seriously going, we're going back to Alien
3 had this
Well,
like
you could see how
fisheye
they,
thing.
but it's kind of cool. I guess they see through their entire head, I guess.
Well, they see.
whatever.
Yeah. Well, the idea was that their dome is like a sonar thing,
Yeah.
so that's why they're picking up on wherever everything is.
Yeah, and they can move so well.
Yeah, I got it.
But
yeah.
I think my biggest gripe is because I wanted answers from Prometheus. We wanted to see the master
You got
race
all your answers
and
in
all
this
that.
movie.
No,
and
but
none of them were good.
no, but like I wanted to see these people. I wanted to see their fucking
their creators,
the creators, and meet with them and talk. And but no, it's just like, hey, you know what? They just they made planets. We didn't like if you don't like the planet we created. I mean, they were gonna drop that fucking thing. They've seen what we
I get what they were going.
I wanted to see more about these dudes.
I get
about
what
the
they're
creators.
going with that. They said, okay, we have the creators. They created the aliens, but they didn't create them to do what the xenomorphs do now. David is the one that created them to do what the xenomorphs do now.
Which, to me, I hate that.
You don't like that?
I fucking hate that.
But
to me, that's midichlorians.
Yeah. I just wanted to know more about
Yeah, you don't want...
Yeah,
you don't want
pretty much it all boils down to David being an asshole. The reason aliens exist is because David's an asshole.
Because David's an asshole. Because he was the too good of a creation of the Wayland Corporation. Wayland made aliens.
I think what they're going for is the fact that humans eventually kill themselves because humans created these robots. The robots created the aliens then go on to kill mankind.
I wanted to know more about
I think that's what
the creators of the human race.
At the same time,
the seed.
In Prometheus, it literally states, "Well, no, humans didn't create these things. These aliens created this." to kill humans.
Yeah.
So then, why did they create them to kill humans? What was their motivation? Who gives a fuck?
No, that was like
Aliens.
the
Aliens Covenant.
Prometheus. If they
Aliens Covenant. Fuck it.
Oh, you didn't pick up on why the Prometheans wanted to kill the humans.
No, I didn't.
Because they killed and crucified a Promethean alien
Jesus.
2,000 years ago.
Jesus was a Promethean.
Yeah.
That was literally in the movie, but it's a really small thing. You have to watch. You have to watch the extended cut too.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see the
Jesus
extended cut.
was a Promethean.
It's in both.
It's
but
in
yeah.
both?
Jesus was a Promethean.
Yeah.
According.
And we
It's in the
crucified
movie.
him, which
Okay.
And we
pissed
crucified him.
off the Prometheans, so they were going to come to our planet and fuck us.
And the
over.
reason it takes so long to get there is because it takes.
I
so long
never
to
caught
do
that. I never caught
It's,
that.
it's very subtle, but if you actually
Was that at the beginning? Because the beginning was really confusing.
It's
when they get to the planet and they start carbon dating stuff on the ship.
Oh, I didn't
they're
get
like
that
about
to
2,000
Like,
years
2,000
ago.
years ago, and really was like, yeah, that date's very important. He was saying in interviews, he was pointing it out.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
they're
Never got that.
not directly explained, but obviously nodding to the fact that Jesus was a Promethean.
Got it.
Totally.
Totally
So
get
anyway,
that from-
so they're pissed off that we
Murdered their
wrecked,
god, yeah.
we wrecked their dude.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're gonna, these guys suck. We're just gonna blow them up.
Again, this is Ridley's hate boner for religion.
Well, you didn't pick
And-
up on that with the Orlando Bloom movie back in the day?
Kingdom of Heaven?
Yeah.
That was good, though.
Well, the movie's
that was
good.
amazing.
Well, okay, yeah,
it was very well written.
The movie's good and well written, but it's a hate boner for religion.
Sure, in a way, but it doesn't. It's literally not this. It's not the same because Kingdom of Heaven.
Well, it's based on
works
based on history.
sort of, but it works because you have good and bad people on both sides,
Sure.
and it's a tragedy
Sure.
that these people fuck themselves over through their conflict and hatred.
Sure.
But there were good and bad people on each side.
Yeah.
This is not that. What does this amount to, other than him finding ways to burst the shit out of people's backs?
This is
and mouths and
this
shit.
literally just essentially just concludes everything with the fact that David is still alive and he's going to find a way to kill the main character that you were looking through.
And then there's the weird things too. Why does David know how to operate machinery from 10 plus years past his prime, technology that's beyond him?
Yeah.
Because when he gets on that lift, when the alien's on the bottom, he's like opening doors and doing shit. And I'm like, how does he know how to operate this stuff?
Well, I figured out how to use.
Because I know it's David. I'm like, I'll give it a little bit, and then I'm like, why does Mother have a fucking passcode just for David? David,
Yeah, he said
073.
David, yeah,
Why does the ship have this passcode for David?
I was
Why
only
does it have
assuming
his
that
playlist?
Wayland has like built it into everything he's ever fucking created. As
I
a
guess, but
failsafe.
it's like they saved his playlist into every fucking ship he makes. You know, and it's
the
like
computer like
saved his
we have-
iTunes favorites. I was like, what?
It's probably a Utani, a Wayland thing. because-
I figured that he was able to override it because once he put everybody into the pods, he was given
It's
ultimate
probably
control of the ship.
But he says his name.
All I picked up on that is that David and Wayland had such an influence on all the technology of the fucking world that it's a legacy thing that's kind of built into everything.
Guess.
Because they were only assuming that Wayland was assuming he
Which
was
is
going
a
to live
dumb
forever,
security thing.
so he should eventually have control over everything.
I
So
guess. Yeah, I mean
that's a good excuse.
That works.
Fail-safe.
But
It's
it's
still
kind
pushing
of like, wow, he has his own playlist.
It's still
on a
pushing
ship
it.
from 10 plus years past his supposed death.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I totally get that.
Is there anything else even to talk about?
My most hated thing in the film.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
His fucking last line. Not when he says
Oh God!
playlist.
No, don't say it. Don't say. Oh God! No.
When she realizes who he is,
I cringed
she's like,
so
no!
hard.
And he's just like, he goes,
Oh, I cringed.
Don't let the bed bugs.
Don't let the
don't
bed
let
bugs.
the beds bugs.
I
literally
cringed
out
so
loud just
hard.
went,
No. What the fuck was that, dude? I cringed so hard when you said that, dude.
And yeah, I think my most hated film.
he's like, don't let the
My
beds I'm like,
most
fuck
hated
you.
thing in the
He's like,
movie.
you get up? Nope.
The most hated thing in the movie is the sex scene alien kill. It's like
It actually wasn't that bad.
It didn't last that long.
it didn't last that long.
though?
It's just the
Why is it there?
entire fucking premise of the situation. It's
Well,
not,
here's
it's not the fact that the scene is bad or it's poorly shot or anything like
Right,
that or it's
right.
not effective.
Right.
It's the fact that an alien is killing people fucking.
Oh, okay.
That's what this
It's too
movie.
tropey?
It's just
It was tropey.
It's a
but the thing
goddamn
is, too,
alien killing people fucking.
Yeah, it's a young couple taking a shower.
It's a young.
and they're fucking-
It's literally like a Jason Freddy Krueger thing.
yeah.
And I honestly kind of put. I mean, no offense to anyone that likes Jason or Friday the 13th or Freddy Krueger. I kind of put the Alien films or
Above
Alien
that.
and Aliens kind of above that.
that.
I think they're kind of like Alien and Aliens.
I can
kind of
accept
smarter
that. I can
movies.
accept that.
Not
given-
Resurrection, though.
No. Alien Alien 3
Aliens.
kind of, Resurrection, no. Anything else, I'm just talking really about Alien 1 and 2. I think they're kind of like intellectually smart and well-crafted and good movies that kind of are kind of on a higher pedestal than a slasher.
Yeah, and then this movie has moments like that, which is a scene you would expect in AVP Requiem.
Sure. Yeah.
You have David kissing, not Shaw, but the new girl. And Walter himself. And I was sitting there almost thinking to my point, he's going to impregnate them. He's got like something resting in his gut. When that was happening.
Right.
And I was sitting there thinking, oh God, he's going to impregnate her like the Predator alien. This is really just Alien vs. Predator Requiem.
And he doesn't. No, it's
but
just
directed
it's just,
well.
It's just
That's
David.
all this fucking. There's like these moments that are.
It's
so
just David
bad.
and his concept of what emotion and love is.
Yeah, I
fucked up.
guess, but it was kind of like I was expecting that to happen, and at the end he
it
he
happened
bars
later,
up some like alien face hugger embryo.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. There's a part where he says like they're waiting for Mother, and you think that might be a hint at the Queen, but it's not. David's the mother. Kind of thing, which is why I'm kind of like, oh my God, Ridley, you just hate fucking aliens.
Our mother could be just the people dumb enough to fall for his stupid trap.
He creates the embryos, or at least he carries the embryos of the fuggers, and then puts them into cryostasis.
What are these things?
That shit was the most painful.
Man, that's the dumbest fucking part.
That
man.
scene, like when it was happening, I'm just like sitting here. Oh my. Just fucking get it over with. Like, this is the most...
Yeah, just get it over with. Yeah.
Those things don't... what are they? Cool? Like, what?
It's a giant egg. I wondered...
Here's the thing, though, and I realize Aliens when the first sequel...
Maybe it was a trope at that character not being very bright. I think that character...
Whatever. Regardless, it came across as a cringy
But here's the thing.
story.
In Alien 1, we established that they answer a distress call, they find a ship full of eggs. Inside the eggs are these fuggers. And the guy gets fucked. And a chest burst scene happens.
Which you assume happened, the same thing that happened to the pilot of the ship.
Yeah. The space shock, because he has a big old chest cavity.
Or the space... Or, as we learned later, the thing that was kind of inside the space jockey is what laid the eggs. Because that's what sets up for Aliens.
So Aliens happens, and in the extended cut, they do show Newt's father getting fucked very briefly. You just see him being brought back.
It just gets brought back.
But there's not a moment where they're showing the eggs and it's opening up and someone's being retarded and like looking into them and then you get fucked. The only when you see a fugger in Aliens,
they know you've seen it before.
They know you've seen it before. It's not this drawn out wasting your time waiting for the big moment. It's Newt's trying to comfort or Ridley's trying to comfort Newt, and one's crawling around in the room. You didn't see this egg scene or anything like that. And immediately goes to the fact that like she knows fucking Burke did it.
Yeah.
And so she wants to waste Burke. And you can kind of hate James Cameron all you want for how cliche he can be, but his characters don't generally feel stupid.
No, they don't.
That's the thing.
They feel cliche. Like, the bad guys are obviously bad guys.
There's two good moments in there where when Ripley pretty much accuses Burke, he's kind of like, because you guys are crazy. He's like, yeah, you'd impregnate us. And then when we'd slip back in...
She literally says exactly what he would do.
She draws it out, and then
fucking A.
Hudson's like, you dog me, pal, or whatever. And they're debating this, and then Hicks, he's the one in command at that point. He's just, all right, but fuck it, we waste him.
Yeah.
That was their idea. That was their plan. Fuck it, we'll waste him.
Literally, these characters are all stranded. They realize what Burke is going to do to them. Like, okay, we're going to execute this guy.
Yeah, fuck it, we waste him.
And then they get interviewed because the aliens attack at that point.
But
we waste him, no offense.
And Burke, gets his comeuppance anyways, but there's even the point where after the first mission in goes really south, and again, you don't see the eggs necessarily at the start. You don't see. You just see one woman cocoon.
Aliens knows the first
they know
movie.
What you know.
Alien, they know what you know. Alien respects the fact that you kind of can pick up on what happened before.
Yeah.
And this movie, like, it does that. It does exactly what you were saying.
Yeah.
Well, we got a general audience, and we're just gonna hope it's been a long enough time where no one's really seen what an alien process is like of chest bursting.
So
we're gonna reintroduce that, and that's exactly what this movie does. Yeah. Nothing interesting really happens outside of David being an asshole, which is interesting.
Knew that.
But you already knew that, and that's like that's interesting, but it's not new. Everything else is super cliche. Like, it is the same alien flowchart. Even up until the very end, where I was hoping there was going to be something that we might not have seen before, but nope, the thing that you haven't seen before was the necro.
This is what I mean by them trying to appeal to a new audience, is the fact that they did exactly the same stuff that we've already
It
all
more
seen,
feels like
but in a new way.
It just feels like a remake of the first Alien.
Yeah, that's
Is what it
literally
really
what they're
does.
fucking
in
trying
a
to
weird
do.
sort of way, yeah.
Yeah.
And then even after that first mission goes south in Aliens, their immediate idea is like, oh, what should we do? Should we call it? And then I think Ripley or someone says, I think Ripley says it, where she says, I think we nuke him from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
I see. Yeah, she says we nuke the site from orbit.
Yeah. And they all go along with it. They're like, yeah, fucking A. I think that's
And then that's when Burke
man.
is the first time he interjects and he's like, whoa, this place holds a substantial dollar value. You can't just blow it the fuck in. And the guy's like, fucking A, we can.
And then that's what they do. They're just like, they go to the immediately, what is the best solution to this problem? Nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be
Everyone
sure.
on this planet is screwed. Let's blow it up. I mean, it's a terraformed planet. Yeah. The characters in
Like, they
Aliens
do
are
what you think
smart
they're
as
gonna
fuck. Like they act like humans do. And while the characters in a movie like Covenant do have human-like traits and emotions, they never act like people would. They always make ridiculously stupid decisions and have motivations that don't make any fucking sense, and all of a sudden have character flips that are just like, you weren't acting like this a second ago at all.
Gorman's
What's going on?
the biggest idiot in that movie. And Ripley even has to take shit over from Gorman because Gorman's fucking up and basically having a meltdown.
Yeah.
So Ridley has to take the wheel, literally. And then Gorman even has this sort of like redemption, at the end where he kills some aliens.
Yeah.
Goes out, fuck you, Gorman, you always were an asshole kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but other than that, like, for the most part, like, they're doing what you think they should do, and it doesn't treat you like you've never fucking seen a movie before.
Yeah.
Like with David and Walter.
That's kind of the it's the polar opposite of Prometheus, where it like you don't know what the fuck is going on, and it's like you have an idea of what aliens are, but then they're trying to throw curveballs every single direction that you're just like. So you don't know what's happening, but it's like specifically written that way and kind of written poorly in that way. When this movie tries to answer every single question to a fault.
You don't answer these questions. That's, I think, the ultimate fault of the film is that why are you demystifying?
And that's all this movie does. This
mythos.
movie demystifies the fuck out of the alien mythos.
Yeah.
Like the Prometheus kind of sets you up for something that could be really interesting, but you really didn't want the answer to it because it's Covenant.
Yeah,
I mean,
but there
that's-
was excitement in
that's the-
Prometheus when they're going to the planet. You see the bone ship. You know what the bone ship is. You know there were eggs on it in Alien 1. So you were kind of like, oh man, if it's just full of eggs, that'd be kind of boring. And it's not full of eggs.
Yeah.
So Prometheus 1 had a little bit of an interesting start where you're like, I'm excited, we're going to this new planet, and we're going to see some shit.
Sure.
And I don't know what's going to happen kind of thing, and I don't know, I haven't seen these creatures before. And then it gets really stupid and stuff.
The only mysterious moment that really sets you... There's a couple of mysterious moments that are, like, intriguing in some way and not super flowcharty. It's when all of a sudden David shows up and takes them to wherever the fuck they're going, and they go for whatever reason without any question.
Right.
And then there's the Citadel with all the dead people, and, like, that's really... This is what the fuck is going on. This is cool.
Yeah.
That's where I was, like, really on board with the movie as far as people making dumb
I
decisions.
think it was turning itself around at that point.
The part where literally David becomes his own psychopathic H.R. Giger in a way, and he has the drawings of him, and he ripped Shaw apart because
That's what I was going to say. I was going to talk about Shaw. I'm like, what? Okay, first of all, this is what confuses me. He was supposed to be in love with Shaw.
Well, that's his interpretation of love.
So he kills
He's
her because
fucking
he's in love?
insane.
Okay.
He's insane. Like,
I was like,
you have to think through you have to put your mind into something that isn't what you normally think.
Which Max
He's fucking
is probably
crazy.
giving him more credit, and I'm going to just
maybe, I don't know.
I'm just going to hope that's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend that's what it is, even if it isn't.
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend that's what they're going for. I just kind of figured he was just a liar and an asshole.
No, I feel the character.
It does give a little more weight.
Which is why the kissing thing is there, which is why he acts weird around people, which is why he's kind of a nut, which is it's like he has emotion but doesn't understand them, has a feeling of what love is but doesn't know how to express it, and he's fucked up in the head. He's just messed up.
It would almost it might even work better though if his original idea was that like when people are in love they reproduce. And he was in love with Shaw, so he tried to reproduce with Shaw.
Well, and that's the thing.
He
is
did
like
it through the alien, but it wasn't
to
really.
To further conclude to my point, he looks at what's the W guy's name? Walter. He looks at Walter protecting the girl. You sacrificed your hand for her. You love her.
Yeah,
he's like, I didn't love her.
It was my duty.
It was my duty.
Yeah,
he interprets everything as love. Like he interprets this like
that's a good catch.
And then, that's why that character. That's why that motivation makes sense to me. Why the kissing shit. That's why that didn't bother me.
And it's the duality of love and hate.
Was he praying to Shaw? Or was he like?
No, he respects her deeply. Like
because there was a part where he was looking at her picture and he was saying something.
No, he was saying something deeply empathetic.
Yeah, It wasn't like
because
a
he's
traitor.
like, he literally says, she showed me the most compassion I have ever felt in my entire life. So he does what he thinks is a form of love by literally creating new life with her body.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what she does not want, but David interprets that as what she wants. So literally he impregnates Shaw with it and dissects the fuck out of her and makes this horrific looking thing of her body, which is a really creepy and kind of awesome scene.
Even
hopefully
having, like,
we'll give him credit.
Then there's like the one part where
Hopefully that's
Walter comes
true.
back and he's maybe going to save the day.
God! Okay, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
Know, and I'm like, okay, we're kind of playing on here because I was expecting Walter to turn, like David was going to convince him.
Sure, me too.
I was expecting that. And he's good. And I'm like, they already did this fucking hook in Aliens.
Yeah.
And again, they did it better with Bishop.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea of
the whole thing through Aliens is that there was a bad synthetic, there was a bad android on Alien that fucked with Ripley, and they're like, it was a bit twitchy. And so you have... They're fucking with you the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
The whole movie you think Bishop is a bad guy.
Right.
You think he's like kind of offy and off, and he's examining the face hugger. He's like, hey Bishop, you need anything? Bishop, anything you need? And he's like, no. And he's really weird. He's like, that's a pretty interesting pet you got there, Bishop. Fantastic specimen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like he is embodying all these things, and they're going to double take you later on that he actually ends up becoming the hero. He is completely different than the android in the first one. And we were all anticipating that's what was going to happen here.
I kept thinking that's what's going to happen. We're going to have our Bishop moment.
We're going to have our cool Bishop moment, and nothing.
Even then, that would have been just retreading aliens.
It would have still been just retreading
it's like,
aliens.
no, Ridley, you can't do what he did and claim, look how cool I am. I subverted your expectations.
You're
It
right.
already happened, buddy.
I got something that's going to really bug you. There's a part where they're in the Citadel. They bring all the people in, right? The Citadel's in the middle of the big dead town full of bad guys, and everyone starts investigating. The girl gets killed by the Necro alien. So here's like a sequence of events. Girl gets killed by the Necro alien. Captain Guy leaves for a second to go check on her. David is talking to Walter while they're doing their thing, and essentially the one girl is with like the Mexican guy in the middle, and they're just like not doing much.
Right. There's some really fucked up pacing in there.
There is a moment where the fuck is Walter? There are so many goddamn things happening right after they do the flute scene where Walter just disappears.
Right.
All of a sudden, all the characters are doing all this shit. People are dying left and right,
and the
getting
problem
shot.
is that the timing.
Yeah, timing.
You are
was a
so
little off.
fucking lost.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the,
And that's
on the
exactly what I
timing
mean.
of the sequence of events.
That's exactly what I
in
mean.
the middle.
This is what I'm boiling it down to. There is so much shit happening where Walter is like the one character that can actually save these people right now because he's a synthetic and can fucking fight and do all this cool shit and might be able to do something about it, where alien gets shot, guy goes down, gets face hugged with David. David manages to go back, have the thing erupt from the dude's chest. All this shit is happening. The time is passing here.
Yeah.
The other characters are doing a calling. What the fuck is going on? We're calling the ship. And all this shit happens. And eventually, after all that happens, David goes back to the room that he was literally in the last sequence. You saw him in the same room with him, and he goes back into the room again. And here's Walter. He's back all of a sudden. It's like, where the fuck were you?
Yeah.
Could have used your help throughout all the other shit. Aren't you like a circus android? What the fuck? Where were you?
He's conveniently not in the areas when those people were getting
Exactly, and it's like,
Conveniently
and that me and Jessica
no
were
one was
talking about
hearing
this.
like the gunshots or the screams or anything.
That's exactly and the most important character, which is fucking like Walter, to help them in this situation. That's his whole point. That's the character's entire motivation is to help out the crew.
But at that time
He just vanishes for 20 minutes, and then shows up in the exact same sequence again with the revelation moment with the same character. I'm like,
yeah, even when the characters are
Where was
screaming,
he?
they're dying, he literally tells the girl, hey, don't go so far. And she's like, okay. She didn't go too far. She just wanted to go, do her wounds.
Wash her hands. Or
Wash her
whatever.
hands.
Yeah,
Whatever.
clicking
She
or-
screams out loud
And
as
then
she's getting in.
yeah.
Nobody hears it.
Yeah, nobody hears it. That's another thing.
Nobody hears it.
And
On a
the
planet where
gunshots.
nobody
Like,
hears it.
gunshots and
what is going-
gunfire.
Nothing.
Yeah, like
is it, like they're on a
How large is this place?
How far did they go?
Yeah,
How
large is-
soundproof are
I'm not
those
going
walls?
anywhere.
Yeah, right?
I'm not going anywhere. This is
Because,
crazy
like,
shit. I'm
the-
staying next to you guys.
The last
right?
thing we saw of him was like David gave him the pretentious speech about like God creating humans killing God and all that stuff, and then shows him the Shab grave, and that's like, was he out in the garden just fucking thinking about shit the whole time?
Yeah, like how did he get to that point?
I mean, we kind of, and then what's funny is that no, he wasn't, because we later find out that character is like, no, I don't think like you do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight you now because I got to protect these fucking people.
Yeah.
So he wasn't. Like he wasn't even thinking that way. So where the fuck was he?
You know what I thought was
Fucking
One out.
That part bugged the shit out of me.
You know what I thought was really cute? He has the grave of Shaw on the plaque,
And her body in the
and her body's in the house.
Yeah.
So who the fuck was in the grave?
That's
Well, why did he make a grave?
Why did you make a grave? The body's right there.
And that to me, that stuff is completely fine because he's fucked up. It's his interpretation of what this shit is.
But again, it's more like, is David a secret asshole who's aware of events before they happen?
Absolutely.
Like in the first movie?
Absolutely.
Like he knew that shit was going to come out of Shaw's boyfriend?
Absolutely.
Like, did he know another expedition was going to someday come to his planet and he was going to build up this whole fucking story about the payload and then how he buried Shaw in the garden?
I feel that...
made this nice tombstone for her?
I feel...
To show someone someday so he could perpetuate
You're giving Ridley a
what the fuck?
No, but here's the thing.
Credit,
the only credit I'll give is that I'll essentially boil it down to what the entire creation of Aliens is as a result of learning all the answers through Covenant and David's motivations for everything. David is a secret psychotic dickhead asshole. That's it.
There you go.
He's just a psychotic dickhead asshole. Everything boils down to that.
Yeah, and it's just boiling down to not forgetting Ian Holmes' characters and Ash.
Yeah.
It all kind of leads up to Ash eventually.
Yeah.
In Alien, because that's what Ash is.
Yeah.
You know,
And so they already kind of did this. Like, Ash was the one that opened up the fucking quarantine when they were about to bring the guy on board that had the thing inside him in the first Alien.
Yeah.
He was the one that overrode it and just let him in. No one knew Ash was an android.
Yeah.
Like, that was a huge reveal that he was a fucking robot.
Fucking robot!
Yeah.
He's a goddamn robot!
That it was Ash that made that call, and so Ridley already did this. Ridley already did, like, you have a dickhead alien robot, and now you have a dickhead alien robot that is now playing God.
Yeah.
That's Aliens now. That's what Alien has been boiled down to.
And that, and then the fact that they're kind of like saying that in a sense, David and by association Wayland is the creation of the aliens, the actual eggs and the xenomorphs, and
by association.
And I kind of hate all that. And here's the thing: I want you to just think about this.
Okay.
All right.
When they did the final thing to kill the last xenomorph,
Right. Yeah. It was just like Aliens Colonial Marines.
Yep.
It was the exact same
The
sequence.
movie ends the
movie
same way
literally
Aliens
ends.
Colonial Marines ended.
Yeah, the movie literally ends with the same killing sequence that they take in Aliens Colonial Marines, the video game from the what the hell? The horrible 2012 video game.
Gearbox,
Wow.
Aliens Colonial Marines. Just
What?
That's a big spoiler.
Just put that
Instead of it being a queen, it's
just a regular
just
xenomorph.
one alien.
right.
Yeah.
Because Ridley, I swear to God, hates the Queen.
Like I
He
said,
hates the idea of it.
like I said,
He doesn't want to
new
just make it
audience,
like
man.
a bug.
They want to feel that a new
What,
audience.
can
they
we
don't
say
think they don't know
that James
anything about
Franco
it.
was the hottest actor in the movie?
Yeah, he was in one shot. He was in one shot, and he's in the
Off-screen.
I did not expect him to be there.
He's in the
The hottest
prequel.
actor in the movie.
Prequel?
He's in the
Yeah.
prequel scene.
Last
There's a
Supper.
scene where you
Hottest.
actually see all the characters doing it together.
Hottest actor.
Really?
Hottest.
What do you mean? What are you trying to get?
He was on
Oh, because he was on fire.
Yeah.
Wow!
Come on.
Ah!
So I prefer. I mean, in all honesty, I didn't really mind the fact that the aliens were created by this other alien species to eradicate things. But now
that
it's-
was one thing.
But now it's kind of boiled down to David created the aliens because he's a secret asshole.
Yeah.
So I kind of prefer what Aliens set up. She's a bug, man. I mean, fucking big.
Big,
They're
badass.
bugs. They are
Like ants.
bugs, and they work like a hive.
Bees, man.
They don't need that much explanation. It's the shit that happens. It's what happens to the characters is what's important.
Because it's creepier in a way when it's a bug. Because the thing is, you have now since he can't use the original life cycle of egg, fugger, human to chest burster xenomorph, like captures new prey, makes it into an egg.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore. I liked how there was this creepy life cycle introduced in Aliens because it was it was something new.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Well,
and the thing is, we understand how a monarchy works, sure, but think about it. Alien, like bugs, like ants and bees are weird because they have drones and workers.
and they communicate.
And they communicate oddly, and somehow they're very organized, and they go out and they do these things, and like certain ants are like crazy, and they'll like enslave other ant species.
Yeah, it's weird.
And they do all this fucking weird, creepy bug shit.
Yeah.
And that's what
Weird, creepy
aliens
bug
are.
shit,
They're
man.
weird, creepy bug shit. And they introduce this weird, creepy idea. There's a big fucking mother queen and it fucking lays eggs and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
Well-
more than just creepy. It fits thematically with the film of maternity.
And it fits thematically with what happened in the first Alien, where they have one thing and then they exemplify it. There's now multiple of this
Yeah.
thing, and this thing times 100 is really dangerous.
Yeah.
But the whole thing that's great about Aliens, which is a lot different than Covenant, which just sets up for the same alien flowchart, is the fact that there is this thing looming in the distance that they talk about. It's like, who's laying these eggs? Like, what the hell is this thing? And all of a sudden, in the end, you've forgotten what's happening because there's all this crazy shit, and they turn a corner. What the fuck is that? Like, and then the entire rest of the movie is dedicated to this big fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome. It's movie making. This one doesn't do that.
Yeah, because the thing is, he talks about, the idea is to either eat or find hosts for a parasite, but they stop short of saying a queen or anything. In and they just kind of imply that David hawks up these little embryos with fuckers in them, and then they'll grow into an egg.
Yeah.
I think,
and I'm like, really?
Yeah. I don't think he does that. I think he just stored them in himself.
Maybe. But he did say he spliced all the DNA. And
I think that's where the egg starts. I think that's what, like, that thing is an egg. He's just keeping it embryonic until it can grow into a big fucking
he's
thing.
Just storing it.
And I don't know why you would have to make it like I feel that the ultimate transfer is the fucking ear goop shit.
Yeah.
Why don't you just make it ear goop shit? Like that's ultimately way better.
He also had liquid too. He also had like some fucking water.
Right. Well, that's the original goop. That's the goop from the first movie. Like, why wouldn't you just make it the virus thing that killed the whole planet? Why wouldn't you just manipulate that? But instead, he genetically mutated it to be an egg that conveniently fits on a human's face. Like, did you design this just to fuck over people? Maybe you did.
Yeah.
Maybe you did. Anyway, well, I'd recommend you go see it just to see it.
So you say
seriously. You know what? After talking about it, I'm gonna give it. I might drop. The more I talk about it, the more I'm like kind of upset with it. I think I said like a 6 before.
Yeah, you said 6 point. Yeah.
You know, I'll drop it down to a 5.5. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's between a 5 to a 6, just because it's like when I'm starting to talk about it, it becomes upsetting. Yeah. And I find it even more upsetting than Prometheus.
Yeah.
Prometheus can be a bit disturbing with how like dumb some things happen in that movie, but I like Prometheus more as a movie, even with the father shit that happens, and I don't know. What do you feel, Steve?
I'm gonna give it a 6 only because I went into it not worried about the previous movies. If you just look at it as a dumb, fun slasher, that's literally what it is. It is a flowcharty, fun slasher.
That's just so sad for Alien.
Right,
yeah,
but
and literally to me, yes, I agree with you. It's put on the level of a Freddy or a Jason movie.
Yeah, Freddy or Jason movie, and if you look at it at that, you'll have fun watching it. Yeah. So that's why I say, you know what, have a 6 because
it's Freddy or Jason.
It is a fun slasher.
It's Freddy. It's a Freddy Jason movie with a bunch of biblical context.
It brings it back to the original fun slasher, and although that's not what Aliens is to you guys, it might be that way to some other people. So, you know.
I agree with Steve. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's like a Jason
if you're
movie.
holding it to the Alien and all these other things.
It is an Alien movie.
I know that.
So I will absolutely hold it to that standard.
You can, which will bring down your score.
Yeah,
because you see that and it's the same thing with like let's say me and Street Fighter and stuff like that. If I hold it at a high standard, or you in Zelda, if you hold it at a high standard because you have so much good history, and then they give you something shit, you're like, well, fuck that part. You know what I mean? Like you get mad, but at the same time, if you look at it as a standalone, you have fun with it.
I was thinking like through this is kind of a 6 or whatever, and then David said the bedbugs line. Don't let the bedbugs bite.
Okay, well,
I'm just like
4.
Oh my god, it's like
this
Max.
This some all bullshit.
It's like Max in the shower scene. It's like why
it's a well shot, well acted movie on the level of Alien Resurrection or maybe a step above Requiem.
I definitely put this movie above Resurrection.
It is. It is because it's well shot and it's well acted.
Yeah,
it's well directed.
There's a level of hokey cheesiness to Resurrection that is on another level.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like the bedbugs thing to me was like
it's pretty cheesy.
That was a Resurrection line.
Well, come on, Star Wars is like don't choke on your aspirations.
Yeah, don't choke. And fucking Andrea hates that line so much.
Darth
I
Vader.
thought it was kind of cool. I thought I'm like, why is Vader making a pun?
Because Star Wars is already cheesy as fuck. Like it's obvious.
Well, that didn't bother me that much, but to me it just kind of like I couldn't stand some of the hokiness and stupidity behind. Like the writing is just bad in it. It's predictable. Characters are stupid. Yeah. And then sometimes you have these really fucking dumb lines and really awkward scenes of like play my flute.
Yeah.
and you're like, Okay, I get it.
Where's
It's
this going?
supposed. I get it. It's supposed to be creepy and unsettling, but it has the same problem as the opening of the movie.
It takes too damn long.
It goes on too long.
It goes on way too long.
It was
Cut
just to make a point. It's like, hey, we're robots. We can't even make our own music. We can only play
Right,
fucking music
yeah.
with program.
We get it.
Make a song.
We get it.
Make a song.
understand what you're saying. You're
I can't. I'm a
they're
robot.
delving into the psychosis
So, yeah.
of that character.
It
They're
was
trying
just a
to
weird,
build
creepy
the-
way of
Right,
showing
they're
it.
building it, but we get it.
We get it.
It's like them setting up for the fact that it's totally what's the guy's name? Walter. It's totally Walter. It's totally Walter.
Yeah. Oh, gee, look, it's white.
They do the same shit throughout the rest of the movie.
But yeah, that's it.
So
In Resurrection, the
We know
plot of
it's
that
not
movie
done.
was Brad Dourif, the actor, wanting to make a beautiful new species.
Yeah.
And now, granted, he's kind of like awful in his own kind of charming-ish way because he's just so just schlocky.
Yeah.
David's not as schlocky. David's handled better. He's like a better version of basically that guy making
The crazy mad
the
scientist.
newborn.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what these necromorphs are. They're basically like the newborn. They just don't look as nearly as stupid as the newborn did.
Yeah.
So, and you don't have Ripley going like, "Oh my baby." So
Yeah.
yeah, it's way better. Yes, it's way better in Resurrection, in that sense. But it's to me, it's like you really didn't elevate the series much here, and that's the thing is like,
And that's the problem. I
I-
think Prometheus, in its unanswered glory, does add an interesting element to the alien mythos that I was very curious about, and this movie crushes it.
yeah, because Prometheus, I wasn't really sure if I was really feeling it, but I was like, maybe, and then this movie's like, oh, here's what it is. It's really bad.
Here's everything. It's like,
It's like, okay.
Well, there you go.
I just
For
miss
you guys, I think you guys really hate closure. I love closure. Like them.
Well, there
I
is
think
no-
bad closure.
I just bad. It just depends how it's handled. It's not good closure, and it's not even closure. There's another fucking movie coming out.
Well, yeah,
There's four
I'm just
coming
talking
out,
about.
possibly.
I'm just
He wants to make
like
5 of these. Apparently, that's what he said recently.
closure in the
He
idea
wants to
of
make like 5 fucking
them explaining.
aliens.
He's like 90 years old.
That's what I'm saying. How's he gonna do this?
The worst part is that he killed Schrodinger, Jaloppinger. What the hell?
Shaw.
No, not Shaw. The other guy that was going to direct the Aliens movie with Ripley. And
Oh yeah. He killed Neil's movie.
He killed Neil Blomkamp's movie.
Yeah.
Like I think that
Which-
came
which
from
I'm like-
Ripley.
Oh.
I almost kind of
Or
want.
Ridley.
I almost kind of want this movie to kind of like not succeed,
Ha.
so that Fox will
Yeah.
will actually go. Maybe we should.
There was going to be.
Maybe we should have.
There
done
was
remember
going
that.
to be that the Neil Blomkamp Alien 3
Real Alien 3.
Real Alien 3 movie, which was going to come after Ridley was done with his series, but Ridley seems so goddamn enamored with his Jesus Alien horse shit
Yeah.
that now this is going to go on forever, and he pretty much got the other one killed.
Yeah, which
Is what it
which
seems
kind of kind of annoys me because I like the theme that the series was going for. 3 cut way to the end, where it was like birth, reproduction, birth, maternity,
Family and mother,
maternity, motherhood, family.
Death.
3 should have been passing the torch.
Yeah.
When you become a grandmother, when your offspring
It
leaves
should have
the
been
nest.
passing the torch to Newt,
Passing the torch, your offspring's leaving.
which
your
is
nest.
exactly what Earth War is.
Right, which is what Alien 3 should have been. And then 4, if you were going to go
Should
that
have been
far,
death.
that's death, fine.
Yeah.
But
it skipped that one right to
And
death.
Neil's idea is basically kind of
Passing the
taking
torch.
back that idea of like, we need to follow this logical plot line and not have this completely fucked Alien 3 movie, which is just horrible in every sense.
Yeah.
And Fox has no one to blame but themselves for
Yeah,
it.
Alien 3 was a nightmare on release because of Fox.
Yeah, so-
completely because of Fox.
I almost kind of hope this movie doesn't really light the world on fire, and then they'll be like, maybe we, and because that was the problem with Resurrection, where they're like, we can't have an Alien movie without Sigourney. We need Sigourney. Like, no, you don't need Sigourney. You just need the movie to be good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's almost good in a way if they get that back in their head. We're like,
Well-
we really need Sigourney in an Alien movie. How about we do that one script everyone was excited about? Then we shot for Ridley.
Well, the movie is currently at 75% on Rotten Tomatoes,
I
which
don't
rates
get
it
it.
higher than Prometheus. So I don't
It
know.
blows my
I
mind.
feel we're just out of touch.
No. These are critics.
These
These
are
are
critics.
critics.
These
These
are
are
critics.
movie professional.
Because they'll probably
Yeah.
go that it was beautifully shot and,
So was Prometheus.
Yeah.
But it's rating higher than Prometheus.
Yeah, wow.
Anyway, There you go.
Wow, there you go.
Alien Covenant. I would actually recommend you go see it, just so you can go check it out. If you haven't, there's a good chance you probably have already seen it.
Yeah,
But
maybe matinee, maybe discount.
the
discount
next
price.
movie we'll be seeing is probably Pirates 5. That might come in a couple weeks. Might not be exactly when it comes out.
Yeah,
and
me and Max are gonna be gone opening weekend.
And then after
so-
that, we saw a bunch of trailers for movies I really want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see Blonde Nukem Girl movie, Charlize's movie. I think it looks great.
Oh, Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde.
People have been telling me about it, and I kind of just was like, I had no idea.
There was this poster for it of all this crazy good acclimate shit about it. And I was like, okay. And I saw the trailer, I never saw it. I was like, wow, that looks really good.
When the trailer started, I was kind of like, oh, okay, another shooting
I
anymore.
really-
And then I'm like, this is weird. And John Goodman.
John Goodman's in it.
John
There's a
Goodman's
ton of
in it,
actors.
And
in it.
there was some other and James McAvoy.
Yeah.
And I was like,
There's
maybe?
there's Baby Driver,
Baby
which
Driver.
I really want to see. Edgar Wright
Baby
is one of my
Driver.
favorite directors.
You wanna see it?
Edgar Wright did Hot Fuzz. He did End of the World. He did Scott Pilgrim. He's director writer of the film. I can't fucking wait. I love his director style.
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead. And
I like Pilgrim.
what's after that for
That's-
this summer?
I don't know, but there's that space movie from that one guy.
Oh, Valerian or whatever.
Valerian.
Oh man,
And then
yeah, we
there's
should go see that shit.
Valerian, and then the other one.
The Arrival guy.
Well, that's Blade
There's
Runner.
Blade Runner's way
Runner.
later, yeah.
That's
Way
October,
later.
but I'm hearing early buzz that Wonder Woman's actually good.
Oh wait, we gotta
Really?
go see Wonder Woman.
Really?
I have no preconceived notions about those.
I'm
Oh.
expecting that to be awful. So if it is good and everyone's like, man, I was so expecting this to be shit and it's really good, actually.
Make me happy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'd be nice
I
to see a
mean,
DC
we don't
movie
want it
that's
to be
really good.
bad. We're just
I
expecting
don't want
it
it
to
to
be
be bad.
bad.
I just
Yeah.
DC's giving me no faith
Yeah.
in their projects.
Um,
But Pirates 5, I'm actually really
Definitely
looking
go
forward
see
to. But
Wonder Woman. What else is coming out that we wanted to see? Let me look at this.
I really, yeah, I'm
Star Wars.
really looking forward to Pirates, and I have no
Star Wars
shame in
at the end of the
admitting it. Just fuck it. I really am looking forward to it. But
Oh, there's
sadly,
some other
won't be
stuff
seeing
this
it
summer
next
that's coming
week,
out.
though.
There's
Yeah,
big
yeah.
stuff.
Spooderman. Oh, War.
Spider-Man.
War of the Planet of the Apes.
War of the Planet of the
Oh,
Apes.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
yeah.
Spider-Man for
Scooterman
sure.
and War.
Spooderman.
War's gonna be good, man.
War, I'm really looking forward
Yeah.
to. Those
Captain
movies-
Underpants.
They haven't let me down.
Steve wanted
They
to
haven't
see
let me-
Captain Underpants.
The Mummy.
They haven't let me down.
Oh yeah,
Right.
you're
The
like,
Mummy?
I really
Mummy?
want to see the Mummy.
I
I'm
want
like,
to see the Mummy.
I wish it wasn't modern day. I just
I want
I just don't. I just am like,
Mummy.
That's
I'm
Mummy.
unheard of the modern day shit. I'm just-
Transformers.
No,
We won't be seeing Transformers.
No.
We will not be seeing Transformers.
no.
I can't.
I'm actually. I'd rather see Transformers than the Mummy.
Oh, fuck you. Oh, fuck you.
You can go see it. We'll go see the Mummy. You go see Transformers.
I think that's about it.
I think I'll do
that's about it. All right, we'll be back with
Hey.
more reviews. We loved Alien Covenant. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
High five, everybody.
Yeah. Can't wait for the next war.
Oh god.